Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today our topic is environmental education. Its subject is contemporary issues and trends in education. It is lecture number 18 and its code is 381. Today our objectives are to study about definition, meaning, need, importance and scope, role of teachers in meeting the challenges of air, water, land and noise pollution, effects on human, animals and plants, and roles of individuals, public and government. The recent trends in environmental education. First of all, what is meant by environmental education? Environmental education is the process that allows individuals to explore environmental issues, engage in problem solving, and take actions to improve the environment. As a result, individuals develop a deeper understanding of environmental issues and have the skills to make informed and responsible decisions. Man, as a part and parcel of the environment, has to recognize the role and importance of environment in order to protect it and to get protections from it. For this, he needs environmental education. If we define the environmental education, so it is a process to promote awareness and understanding of the environment, its relationship with the man and its activities. It is also aimed at developing responsible actions necessary for preservations, conservations, and improvement of the environment and its component. According to International Union for the Conservation of Nature, it is being defined that the process of recognizing values and clarifying concepts in order to develop skills and attitudes necessary to understand and appreciate the interrelatedness among man, his culture, and his biophysical surroundings. Environmental education also entails practice in decision making and self formation of the code of behavior about issues concerning environmental quality. What's its meaning? Environmental education refers to the organized efforts to teach how nature environment functions, and particularly how human beings can manage behavior and ecosystems to live sustainability. It is a multidisciplinary field interchanging or integrating disciplines such as biology, chemistry, physics, ecology, uh, and earth sciences, atmospheric science, mathematics, and geography. Environmental education, which is relatively new, is an interdisciplinary process that aims at equipping people with the knowledge, attitudes, skills, and motivations that they need to help resolve environmental issues. Then, need for the environmental education. We all know that environmental education is very necessary because it teaches us about the ourselves and reminds us that nature and people are not separate. So we are nature and nature is us. Environmental education is necessary because we should all be informed and aware of the impacts of our decisions. Some form of environmental pollutions affect each and every nation through the issues differ. Some of the most urgent environmental threats to be dealt with now and in the future. And environmental institutions all over the world have been making intense efforts to meet the challenges arising from politics, science, and public opinion toward integrating environmental concerns. Then, what is the importance of environmental education? We all know that environmental education helps students understand how their decisions and actions affect the environment, builds knowledge and skills necessary to address complex environmental issues, as well as the ways we can take actions to keep our environment healthy and sustainable for the future. Essentials for the self-fulfillment and social development of child and the adults. Essentials for understanding the different food chains and nature of ecological balance. It plays an important role in understanding and appreciating how the environment is used for making a living and promoting material culture. It enables one to appreciate and enjoy nature and society. It inculcates a concern for the systematic change of environment for the distance and immediate welfare of mankind. It makes one conscious of the problems of population explosion, depletion of natural resources, global warming. Then, scope of environmental education. The scope of environmental education is also called the content or subject matter of environmental education. So there are different aspects of the environment. Among them, the biological, physical, social and cultural aspects are important. Then there is some role of teacher in meeting the challenges of air pollutions. Teachers are the most pivotal part in the classrooms. They are the one who can provide link in delivering environmental knowledge and create among the students the awareness of problems associated with environment. Teacher can play an important role in making the program of environmental education successful. It's a worldwide campaign about smoking, like use of good quality of automobile fuels, planting trees, afforestation, air pollution checking by cyclone collectors, electrostatic and precipitators, motor vehicles, sulfur-free and lead-free fuel, non-combustible sources of energy, factories chimneys that should be tall, and using air filters. And awareness programs should be there to meet the challenges of air pollutions. Then what is the role of teacher in challenging of water pollutions? Like wastewater, it should be treated before it discharged into lake or river, and proper filtration or filtering mechanism should be there. Use of herbicide and pesticides, it should be minimized. Pollutants removed by suitable methods like absorptions, electrodialysis, ion exchange, reverse osmosis. Industrial effluents and thermal pollutants, it should be reutilized. Urban waste like reused to generate cheaper fuel, gas and electricity. Biological and physical methods like restore species, diversity and to maintain ecological balance in the water bodies. Then role of teacher in meeting the challenges of land pollutions. You can prevent land pollutions by minimizing the eliminating waste at the source and substituting non-toxic options for hazardous material. Reforestations, ergonomic methods like counter planting, counter furrowing, counter cropping, mulching and leaf forming, constructions of dams, control grazing, soil fertility, forest managements, use of bio fertilizers and natural manures, wind breaks and wind shields, and then special pits like dumping industrial wastes, and afforastations like barren areas should be treated as afforastations. Recycling and recovery of materials like agricultural waste, and then paper, plastic and glosses, and public awareness programs should be there. So if we reduce chemical fertilizer and pesticides, then we can meet the challenge of land pollutions. We should reforestations, pay attention on that, and solid waste treatment, it is a very important issue to address. So recovering and recycling material, so this is to meet the challenges of land pollutions. And proper control of teacher in meeting the challenges of noise pollutions. So there are although different ways like control noise from the get-go. A lot of times go into the classroom already wired from the fun they were having with their friends in between periods or break time. So signal your students to get quiet, take away privileges, offer incentives, and find the source. Like gadgets, it should be developed. Unmuffs industrial workers or traffic control personnel. Nice sections of the factory located far away, and room walls, sound absorbers, Loudspeakers, it should be avoided. We should avoid use of loudspeakers, and we should not. Teachers are expected to discharge the following functions. What are the functions? How to reduce noise pollution. Developing awareness about environmental issues. Turn off appliances at home and offices. Shut the door when using noisy machines. Providing specific and scientific knowledge topic wise. Organizing community service on issues relating to conservation and protection of environment. Use earplugs. Lower the volumes. Organizing social services and community service programs. Stay away from the noisy areas. Follow the limits of noise levels. Organizing populations days and environmental days. Organizing awareness campaigns. Control noise level near sensitive areas. Go green by planting trees. Organizing visits to pollution control centers, and organizing exhibitions on environmental pollution and control. Organizing trees plantations or Vema host saves. Organizing lectures and workshops for the benefits of the community. Developing habits of cleanliness among students. Ensuring cleanliness of the school plants. Arranging lectures of experts on environmental issues. Impressing upon students to adopt the following ways of protecting and improving the environment. What are those ways? Like dispose the waste after separating them into biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Start a composite heap and or use a composite bin. Don't burn any waste, means plastic. Reuse carrier bags. Avoid fast starts and sudden braking of automobiles. Walk or cycle. Use public transport. Use unleaded petrol. Plant trees. Print as little as necessary. Use of recycle. Use a reusable beverage containers. Don't throw your notes away. Save electricity. Save water. Avoid taking cars or carpool with possible. Observes World Environmental Day on 5th June. Air, water, land and noise pollutions and effect on human, animals and plants. Floods, irrigations, drought, soil erosions, sediments, load of the river, siltations, intensification of greenhouse effects, etc. Nitrates like respiratory disorders, mine dust affect soil, chemical fertilizers increasing the salt content of the salt, radioactive minerals great damage to human, improper irrigation practices inhibit plant. So there are some direct or international impacts like application of chemicals, fertilizer, pesticides and insecticides like high yields and economic development. And if change in soil chemistry, so it's soil degradations. Indirect or unintentional impacts. What are those? Experienced after a long time when they become cumulative, not reversible, related to pollution and environmental degradation. Use of chemicals such as DDT, BHC. Excessive use of pesticides, fertilizers and number of other chemicals. For example, toxic materials are transported across the placenta and reach the developing fetus of women and causes abortions and delivery of the premature child. Photochemical smoke, eye irritations, respiratory problems, and cancer. Acid rain uh, depletes the nutrients in soil and destroy plants. Chlorosis and necrosis in plants. Irritations in the eyes and skin of human beings. Affects aquatic life. Airborne fluoride and arsenic pollutions. Injuries to agricultural livestock. Greenhouse effects, definitely it has a skin cancer. Ozone layer depletions, it also affect cancer. And air pollutions affect weather and climate at global level. Industrial growth and environmental impacts. The industrial revolutions impacted the environment. The world saw the major increase in pollutions, which along with increase in living standards led to the depletion of natural resources. The use of chemicals and fuels in factories resulted in increased air and water pollutions and an increased use of fossil fuels. Industrial expansions, it is the release of enormous quantities of pollutants, ions of chlorine, sodium sulfate, magnesium phosphate, and coal consumptions in thermal plants like flash smoke, sulfur oxide, and other. Burning of hydrocarbon fuels increase concentrations of CO2 in the atmosphere, means carbon dioxide. Increase in global atmosphere when it mix with the water H2O, then it becomes H2CO3. Carbonic acid change the soil chemistry. Global warming. Ongoing effect includes rising sea levels due to the thermal expansion and melting the glaciers and ice sheets, and warming of the ocean surface, leading to increased temperature stratification. So other possible effects include large scale changes in ocean circulations. In global warming, we can see that how the ozone layers protect the direct rays from the sun. Now see here the oxygen plus hemoglobin that goes to the hemoglobins, then supply of oxygens throughout our body, then it becomes normal reactions. Then carbon monoxide, when it makes with the hemoglobins, so it prevention of the oxyhemoglobins, then it becomes supply of the carbon monoxide, and then abnormal reactions comes in the result of it. Now see, this is a cycle that nitrates in food and water goes to the nitrates by bacteria in digestive system, then it causes nitrates antibody muscular system, it combines with the hemoglobins and then trigger a lot of metabolic disorders. Industrial waste like chemicals, metals, soil wastes, and garbages. Release of CFS, means chlorofluorocarbons. Depletion of ozone surface. Sulfur dioxide reacts quickly with atmospheric moisture, sulfur acid, respiratory diseases, and acid rains. So this is how that from this is cycle from soils to animals and plants, and then from food to animals or food to human beings, and then also from animals to human being. So this is a cycle, that how it affects directly or indirectly to the human being. Depletion of ozone layers or ozone hole. Stratosphere height of 72 km contains scarce amount of water vapors. Thin layer ozone gas less than 1 ppm absorbs ultraviolet rays. Protective rays. Ultraviolet rays influence the body in many ways, and its beneficial effects that formation of vitamin D in the. Now see that from the earth troposphere, this is 0 to 10 kilometers. After that there is ozone layer, and stratosphere. This is about 10 to 50 kilometers. Decrease in 1% of ozone, 3% increase in non-melanoma skin cancer. Man increase in incidence of diseases like measles, chickenpox, and other uh, viral diseases affecting the skin by inducing rash bacterial infections like tuberculosis and leprosy and fungal infections. US Environment Protection Agency 0.3 to 0.6% increase. Plant affected during photosynthesis. In 1985, atmospheric scientists of British Antarctic Service came into with a stalling report indicating that vast depletion of ozone in the atmosphere over the Halley Bay in Antarctica. Between 1977 and 1984, more than 40% of the ozone layer had decreased. Wider than the continent and extended about 12 to 24 km in altitude. The concentration of ozone is decreasing at the rate of 0.3% every year. All life on Earth come to an end within 60 days, and similar holes thickly populated northern hemisphere. In 1988, developing countries agreed to eliminate 90% of ozone depleting substances by 2000. And polluted water like cholera, typhoid, jaundice, amvisis, polio, and cadmium polluted water, and excess of nitrate in drinking water, and discharge of hot water from industries, arsonous contaminated water, organic compounds, mercury compounds in wastewater, impairment of hearing, eardrum damage, anxiety and stress, irreversible change in nervous system, heartbeat, and ulcers and asthma, psychological disorders like irritability, insomnia, fear, and many such problems. And role of individuals in the environmental protections like curb or greet animal part like skin, fur, ivory, bones, nails, etc. Adopt vegetarian, plant trees, avoid using insecticides, pesticides, and inorganic fertilizers. Paper and cloth should replace. Use the efficient of one industry as the raw material of another. Example, ash to make cement, minimize our needs. Recycle paper, glass, or plastic. 70% of glass recycled, Holland and Germany. Make children aware of their surroundings and need for biodiversity. Follow traditional agricultural practices. Make use of sustainable technologies. Smokeless chillers, ground water recharging unit, and wind energy, solar. Saving energy. How can we save energy? Turn off necessary lights. Use light bulbs of minimum voltage. Eliminate unnecessary outdoor and decorative lighting. Replace your presence light bulbs with electronic fluorescent lamps 10 times longer than 75% less electricity. Substituting a compact fluorescent bulb for a traditional bulb keep half a ton of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. One large ordinary bulb is more efficient than two small ones in a multi-bulb fixtures. Cut down on the use of electric appliances. In summers, shut windows, blind curtains, and doors early in the morning to keep the house cool. Lower the thermostat. Install a solar water heating system. Turn off stove immediately after use. Use pressure cooker. Plan well and keep the ingredients ready before you start. Saving paper is saving trees. Use paper carefully, write on both sides of the sheet. Save envelopes, sold letters, and junk mail. Not use paper towels and tissues in household cleaning activities. Use old towels, sheet, and clothes. Don't use paper plates and tissues or papers decorations when you have a. Reducing the use of automobile fuels like sharing the vehicles and use public. Role of public in the environmental protection. What is the role of public? ensure sustainable and equitable use of resources without degrading the environment or risking health or safety, prevent and control degradation of land, water, vegetation, and air, conserve and enhance natural and man-made heritage, including biological diversity of unique ecosystems. There are some recent trends in environmental education, like preschool level, moral stories and rhythms concerning the worth of nature and environment, proper knowledge about the things around us, personal hygiene and environmental cleanliness awareness through colorful pictures and posters and diagrammatic representations made to show love and compassion for all the living. Allah Hafiz.